Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome back to another episode of my shitty book review channel, where I do a terrible job at reviewing good books. And on today's episode, we're reviewing Where the Forest Meets the Stars. This one's written by Glendy, Vanderah, and it was a really simply written story. You just flip to any old page, and you can see that it's mostly dialogue. It's just almost all dialogue. But it was a wonderful reminder that you don't have to have blocks and blocks of just paragraphs of prose to write a wonderful story. So it was a good reminder of what good storytelling is. It doesn't have to be all beautiful, purpley prose or just poetic and artistic scenery. It could just be about the characters, the conversations they're having, and you can write a wonderful story with that. So bear with me through my quick little shitty intro, and we'll get into the book, okay? Where the Forest Meets the Stars. So the only reason I was disappointed in this book is because I'm writing a book. I'm on my 5th or 6th draft right now about reincarnation. And I was looking up some books, and one of them was The Memory Painter, which I reviewed last time. And this was a comparison title, too, also under the search for where I requested books about reincarnation. This book had nothing to do with reincarnation, absolutely. So I was disappointed that Amazon did kind of mislead me. However, I was rewarded with an actually good book, great story. So there's this woman, Jo, and she just throws herself into her work. She's a graduate student, and she studies bunting nest eggs, And she's throwing herself into her work because her mother died of cancer. She's recently recovered from having breast cancer, had both of her breasts removed. She had to have some of her reproductive organs removed as well to prevent cancer. So she can't have a child. And to get over some of these depressing things that have gone on in her life, she just throws herself right into her work. While she's out in the middle of nowhere studying these eggs, this mysterious young girl who calls herself Ursa, barefoot, covered in bruises, just appears. Now, she appears at the end of one of Jo's long work days, and she's just cooking some food on a fire outside, just trying to relax with a beer and finish off a long day. And this girl's like, I'm hungry, I want some food, And of course, Jo's like, gonna give her some food, but then she's gotta kind of shoo her off. Like, go home, you can't be here. But Ursa's really, really persistent, and I love the way that this character was introduced, because you could tell right away that Ursa was very smart. She says that she's an alien, and that she came to this planet to learn, and that she took over the body of a girl that was recently deceased. Now, I could go into a lot of details about why the girl came up with this cockamamie story, but the point is it was a great way to start the book, because I'm immediately like, who the hell is this girl? And how the hell is Jo going to either get her out of her life or take care of her? And in the process of finding this stuff out, we're also met with this other character. He's initially introduced as the Eggman because he just sits on the side of the road and sells eggs. But his real name is Gabriel Nash, that we find out. And he starts to play an integral role in this book as well, because turns out he's more than just an Eggman. He's quite the farmer and quite the handyman, and he's got quite the education, but he's got some demons himself that he's trying to work through, which actually make him and Jo a perfect pair to try to figure out what to do with this weird kid who claims to be from the Pinwheel galaxy, and that's why she chooses the name Ursa, because it's in the constellation of Ursa Minor, something like that. It was a really fascinating story, the way they developed the characters and all their dynamic. And Glendy, Vanderah, she got a follow out of me. I went ahead and I followed her on Twitter because I thought she was so cool. I really enjoyed this book, and I think you will too. So while it wasn't the book I was looking for, it's definitely not Glendy's fault. That was Amazon's fault. But I was awarded with a wonderful, wonderful story. And it was just crazy how the story of how this young girl became covered in bruises and barefoot and finding herself in the middle of nowhere came to fruition, and how Jo and Gabriel and everyone else involved ended up getting tied together and really coming together at the end of this book to tie it all together nicely and just make a really sweet little ending. It was a cute story. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a Hollywood film out of it, because it was a lot of fun. I could see it being on Netflix or something. And that's just how I feel about that book. Give it a shot yourself. I'll be leaving a link for it just like I do with all the books I review here on my Shitty Book Review channel. Some of you may not know, but Corpse Lily, I declined that contract that I had for Corpse Lily, and I put that book on the shelf for a while, so I'll no longer be promoting that one. However, I'm back to trying to find an agent. I'm just working on another book, tentatively titled Where Two Rivers Meet. So I'm trying to learn everything I can from books like Where the Forest Meets the Stars, The Memory Painter, and I'm trying to figure out a good way to put stories together in a good beat. I'm trying an outline for my very first time, and I'll be looking for an agent once again. So, hey, you never know. Maybe you'll see Corpse Lily some other day. I'll just go through it again. But for now, that's where that one sits. So, sorry for all of you who have been hoping for it and asking for it. But with that said, you could have tuned into any book review channel on the internet. For some reason, you decided to tune into this one. I appreciate the hell out of you for it. Talk to you next time.